ITV's royal editor Chris Shipp looked at the security issues involving Prince Harry which are preventing him from visiting the UK and noted the Duke of Sussex may have similar problems in the near future. Harry is expected to visit the Netherlands in a few months' time to attend the Invictus Games and was also predicted to make a stopover in the UK while making the journey. But Mr. Shipp remarked the security issue in the UK could easily apply to the Netherlands also and wanted to know where was the line for Harry's safety concerns. Speaking on ITV's Royal Rota podcast, Mr. Shipp and producer Lizzie Robinson reflected on Harry's security concerns in the UK. Ms. Robinson explained the background and said, during the unveiling of the Princess Diana statue, when he was over here, he attended a charity event. And he says his security was compromised due to the absence of police protection whilst leaving a charity event. Mr. Shipp reflected on the story but wondered what would happen to Harry for the upcoming Invictus Games. He added, because Prince Harry claims that the British police will have access to intelligence and the kind of things that his privately funded US security won't have. But then again, couldn't you say that about when he goes to the Netherlands for the Invictus Games? Is he going to bring his own security or is he going to ask for the Netherlands government to pay for his security that he'll pay them back? Ms. Robinson remarked, I mean, where does he draw the line? She added until the security situation is resolved then it is unlikely that Harry or Meghan will visit the UK. Harry launched a judicial review against the Home Office after his request to pay for police protection was denied. Former Royal Protection Officer, Ken Wharfe, noted Harry had an option available to him to avoid publicity over his security woes. Speaking on Palace Confidential, Mr. Whafe explained the Duke of Sussex still had contacts in Buckingham Palace who could arrange a liaison officer for him. The officer would be able to act as a mediator between Prince Harry and the wider royal security detail. He added, now, if that happened, we probably wouldn't be discussing that now because it would have been in place and everything would have worked. But to make this request at relatively short notice and without any warning, threatening this legal action I think has confused himself if I'm honest. Royal expert Whafe Hadelmanku told GB News that Harry could learn from Princesses Eugenie and Beatrice who have their own private security. He explained, if there were a real security risk for Prince Harry, our intelligence services would, of course, take action. We have to remember that and they aren't going to simply let that information not go unnoticed. And then, of course, you could expect Scotland Yard to take the necessary action. Princesses Eugenie and Beatrice hire ex-royal protection officers who are extremely skilled and have a lot of history in this area and they've also got security clearance in the royal palaces. And if Prince Harry speaks very nicely to Beatrice and Eugenie, maybe he can borrow their protection officers when he is in the country. And of course, we're only talking about the occasions when he is not in royal surroundings because if Harry's over here, visiting his family, you will, of course, get the same protection that they're getting by virtue of being in the same area. Another news, the Prince Andrew High School in Canada has announced it is changing its name of more than 60 years to create a safe and inclusive space for its students. Principal Craig Campbell told parents in a letter that the school was ready and excited for the rebrand which will uphold its values. The Education Centre in Nova Scotia took the Duke of York's name in 1960, to honour him shortly after he was born. But following pressure from the local community after allegations were made against the royal, the school said it will be giving itself a new name which matches its supportive and respectful ethos. Announcing it plans to drop its link to Prince Andrew by the end of year or early 2023 at the latest, the school said it wanted its new name to be reflective of its community. In a letter to parents, shared by local newspaper, Principal Mr. Campbell wrote, "The name of a school should be reflective of our school community and uphold our values as a safe and inclusive learning space for all. Our hope is to continue to build our identity as a positive, supportive and respectful community, with a name to match. We have heard from many of you who feel the same way. We're ready and excited to take this next step." Locals will be invited to submit their suggestions for the new name, with the decision being made by a school committee made of 6 students and staff. Mr. Campbell added, "The committee will review and evaluate the submissions and will then hold a student vote. We'll then forward the top 3 recommendations to the Halifax Regional Centre for Education for final approval."